Let me start with something simple and something uncomfortable. We're not oppressed the way that the old dystopian films, the science fiction movies warned us. There's no dictator on the screen, no marching boots, no curfew sirens. Instead, we're kept comfortable enough not to complain. Comfortable enough not to question, comfortable enough not to accept the suggestion that this is how life is. And it's clever, isn't it? A system doesn't need chains if it offers convenience. It doesn't need fear if it offers entertainment. It doesn't need brutality if it offers comfort. Just enough comfort to keep you safe, but not enough comfort for you to experience your freedom. And when you grow up in a world like this, you stop imagining alternatives. You stop imagining the futures. You stop imagining peace. You stop imagining anything at all. It just stops. Science fiction warned us about this, not with armies or dictators, but with worlds where people simply stopped asking questions. Think about the Matrix movie. Most people didn't fight the system. They didn't even realize they were in it. They were too distracted, too comfortable inside the illusion, too entertained, too distracted to realize, too sedated. Or the movie WALL-E, humanity floating in chairs, screens in their faces, everything done for them. No rebellion, no questioning, just comfort. Comfort is the perfect prison. Because you don't realize you're in it. You don't see the bars, you don't hear the locks, you don't see the walls closing in. You just stop trying to leave. It's a funny status quo to be in. And that's where we are now, living inside a suggestion that comfort equals freedom. But comfort is not freedom. Comfort is sedation. Comfort is control. Comfort is the soft voice whispering, "Don't worry, everything's fine. Don't ask questions, just keep quiet. Don't look too closely, don't imagine too much." Comfort is the lullaby that keeps the world exactly as it is right now. Here's the part that really hits me, the part that feels heavy, the part that feels wrong. We can't imagine a future without war. Not because war is inevitable, not because conflict is natural, but because we've never been shown anything else. Every generation alive today has grown up in a world where there is some war and conflict in some part of the world. A background echo, a constant, a suggestion that we hate each other. And when something is constant, you stop questioning it. You stop believing it can change. This is the world and this is how it is. So we stop imagining alternatives. Sci-fi reflects this back at us like a mirror. We don't want to look in. In Star Wars, war is eternal. It's a cycle, a hum, a drumbeat that is relentless. In June, war is a tradition, inherited, expected by everyone, almost ceremonial in the way it's conducted. In Battlestar Galactica War is destiny, a loop that goes on and on, a pattern humanity can't escape. Even in utopian sci-fi movies, which are very rare, peace is so fragile. Everything is on the brink of collapse, just holding on for dear life. Always threatened, always temporary. We've been trained to believe that war is part of human condition, that conflict is inevitable. Wow. That peace is unrealistic, that harmony is naive. Oh. So when you ask someone to imagine a future of sustainable happiness, a future without war, without struggle, not because they lack imagination, not because I lack imagination, but because I've never been given permission to imagine it. It's a given that there's war going on. The suggestion has been so strong. War is normal. Conflict is human. Harmony is fantasy. So, but what if that's wrong? What if war is not human nature, but human conditioning? What if we've been living inside a story written by people who benefit from this conflict? Shall we open our eyes? What if the inability to imagine peace is the greatest victory of the system? The greatest victory is the way we see in this crazy way, because if you can't imagine peace and how that looks, then there's no impetus to live in peace. And if you never imagine it, the world will never change. Let's talk about the 1%. Let's not think of this 1% as villains, as conspirators, as kind of shadowy figures like in the James Bond movie, meow, meow, and all that. Let's picture them as storytellers. They create the narrative. They define what normal is. They decide what the future is going to look like. And they're very, very good at suggestion, marketing, psychology. They understand you better than you understand yourselves. They don't need to control you directly. They just need to control what I believe in and what I believe is possible. They don't need to limit my freedom. They can allow me to make this podcast and be ridiculed. They just need to limit my imagination. They don't need to silence me. They just need to keep me comfortable. Because comfort kills curiosity. Comfort kills rebellion. It kills imagination. The 1% don't rule through force. They rule through suggestion. This is the economy. This is progress. This is safety. This is the future. And this is just how things are done. And the 99%. We inherit the suggestion. We live inside it. We validate it. We defend it. That makes it even worse. We pass it on to our children. Here you go, darling. Not because we're weak, ignorant, stupid, but because we're conditioned. Sci-fi shows us this again and again through the movies in The Matrix. The machines didn't need to fight humanity. They just needed to keep humanity comfortable. In The Truman Show, the producers didn't need to imprison Truman. They just needed to make the outside world seem absolutely terrifying. In Brave New World, control wasn't maintained through violence, but through pleasure. The 1% don't need to oppress the 99%. It would just never work. They just need to keep us comfortable enough to not complain. And that's why we can't imagine peace. We've been conditioned into war Because peace requires imagination, because we have no idea what it even looks like. And imagination requires discomfort. You have to be uncomfortable to question. You have to be uncomfortable to rebel. You have to be uncomfortable to change, to want that change, to have the energy to change. Comfort is the enemy of evolution. And that's the real danger. Not AI, not technology, not machines. The danger is in the mindset of the people who build these systems. Oh my God. The people who write the suggestions. The people who benefit from our discomfort. The people who benefit from our comfort, which feels like comfort, but really, it's actually discomfort. We know something's wrong, but we're comfortable. So there we go. It is as it is. We can't make a change. We'll just become obsolete. Whoops. We should have done something before. Whoops. Damn. Obsolete. There's a moment in every science fiction story where the protagonist wakes up to themselves. Neo touching the mirror, Truman touching the wall, Deckard realizing his memories aren't his, Kay understanding that he might be more than a number. It's never loud, it's never dramatic, explosive. It's quiet, it's internal, it's an awakening, a shift from this is reality to this is suggestion. And once you see the suggestion, you can't unsee it. You start noticing the comfort traps, the patterns that keep you safe and confined. You start noticing the narratives to this safe confinement that we're living, to notice the limits placed on our imagination. You might well start asking questions, dangerous questions, human questions. Why do I accept this? Who benefits from this? Who wrote the story? Why can't I imagine peace? Why do I feel confined? Who's running my life? You know? And that's where Hypnoseed comes in. Hypnoseed isn't about rebellion. It's about awareness. It's about a system, an operating system, to see the suggestions clearly. It's about understanding the story that we inherited. It's about choosing a new story and understanding how to program that in. Because once you see the suggestion, you can choose your own reality. Not the one shaped by comfort. Not the one shaped by fear. I mean, really. Not the one shaped by endless wars and this inherent nervousness. Not the one shaped by the 1%. To find your true nature, you can't do much better than the offerings of Ramana Maharshi. Who am I? Because the moment you ask, who am I? You stop being the raw material. You stop being conditioned into this simulation, and you stop being a character in someone else's story, in someone else's simulation to yours. You stop being a product of the 1%. Who am I? I am not a data point. I am the witness. I am the observer. I am the awareness behind the story. And awareness cannot be obsolete. No. Awareness lives in the now. It can't be replaced with something else. Awareness can't be automated. It is what it is. Awareness cannot be simulated. So Ramana's question, who am I, is the antidote to the modern crisis that we live in. It's the moment the simulation cracks. And that moment right there is the beginning of freedom. Not a revolution, no, not a battle. It's just awareness. The kind science fiction movies have tried to teach us. The kind most people ignored. The kind you're remembering right now.